Good morning, track fans. How are you doing out there? I hope you're all well. Here we go, another Sunday slot car sessions. Yes, we are in the den. What a show we've got today. We've got a load going on, so stay tuned. Let's give you a little rundown. But first, as always, let's say hello to our younger track fans. So from the top, Albert and Wilf, how you doing, boys? I know you're watching this, especially you, Wilf. You've taken over the reins a little bit from Albert, who's becoming too old, too cool for all of this nonsense. But anyway, good morning, boys. Albert, we've done Albert. Lewis, Elliot, Richards, how you doing out there? You all right? I hope you're watching this. Hope your dad's all right and your Uncle Andy. Morning, Uncle Andy. How you doing, buddy? Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Cameron. Serious racers. Serious racers. Top boys. Good morning, George. Lionel's son. How you doing, George? I don't know if you're up and about yet, but keep tuned. We've got something for you to see a bit later, George. Good morning, Leighton. Good morning, Isabella. Don't know if you're watching this, but good morning anyway. I know your dad probably is. Morning, Nick. And there you go. Right, so good morning, track fans. What have we got today? Tons of stuff coming up today. So we've got a couple of special guests, one of which we'll get on in a minute. We'll just have a quick intro to the chat. Everyone who's in, say hello. Then we'll drag him on because where he is in the world, it is early o'clock. Really early. So, yes. Right then. Chats. Boy, we are busy already. 17 in the house. Where do you start? Okay, here we go. Daz. Yes. Good morning. No, that was old. That was last night. I love it. Daz, as soon as he gets the notification that Sunday slot car sessions, 7:30 every Sunday is on, he is in the chat, drumming up the support. Thanks, Daz. You are the man. Rob. How am you, Rob? You all right? I've been chatting to Rob. Rob's a great guy. Rob started a YouTube channel as well. I love it because he's such just an honest producer. It is incredible. So his latest episode, I won't spoil it, but he does a comparison between two cars, the same car, different brands. Rob, don't change your track. I keep meaning to talk to you about it. Don't change your track. We'll talk about the car performance. You don't need to change the track. Unless you want to, of course. Good morning, Rahul. How you doing, buddy? I think you're tuned in somewhere in the world right now. Right, who else we got? The Fingers. Hello, The Fingers. Good morning. The Fingers is here. I missed you last week, The Fingers. I thought I got cancelled. When The Fingers stopped supporting you, mate, you got problems in slot car world. Good morning, The Fingers. that is actually like a barometer. If The Fingers stops following you, you're cancelled. Oh, that is amazing. Good morning, Rob. Right, ladies, gentlemen, boy, girls, people, let's say we're a modern channel. So Rob here, I did a video in a week. It was flatten my chassis because quite frankly, and I tell you, I'm so sorry I didn't put a before and after shot on. I didn't put the before on. And a few people said it would have been nice to see the chassis before you flattened it. And I realized as I was pouring hot water onto it. So sorry about that. But honestly, I've got a few other chassis to flatten. So I'll do a small picture video file of those, get them over to you to have a look at. But if you picture a proper banana, it literally rocked like a rocking horse chair. So how it come out was pretty good. If you didn't see the video, go back. It was on Thursday. Just quick, simple 6-7 minutes worth, how to flatten a chassis. Anyway, the plate that I used, the metal plate to stick the chassis to, this one comes from Swift Slots. So guy on the comments on the screen, he produces them. So if you want a metal tuning plate for flattening chassis, speak to Rob at Swift Slots on YouTube or Swift16, his website. You'll get one of those for your place. Good morning, Dick. How you doing, mate? Stay tuned. Dick's bringing us some education a bit later, guys. So special feature from Dick. Good morning, Si. Good morning, Cam. How are you doing, guys? Good morning, Lionel. I got your email late last night as I was just doing my final sweeps to make sure I hadn't missed anything. And yes, I'd missed it. So don't worry. Got it in. Morning, John. How you doing, fella? Good afternoon, buddy, over there in Melbourne. Good morning, Pat. How you doing? Good morning, Carl. We are up. We are out. Oh, hello. Good morning, the legends that are. Magnetic Racing, think Scalextric. Hello, Ian. How you feeling, mate? Ian was a bit under the weather this week. But I think he's on the mend. Fantastic. And yeah, cheers. Ian, he knows what he's doing, this guy. Because Ian, right, they knew that they weren't just donating and dropping off a free wood-routed track to me a week or so ago. They knew that they were opening a can of worms of addiction when they were giving that to me. But I'll talk more about that with our first special guest in a bit. Incredibly addictive track building. Morning, Slot Car Daddy. How you doing? Morning, Shane. Morning, Arnie. All coming in today. Morning, Three Rooms. Mac Attack. Are you coming over later, Mac? The missus is in watching the tennis final. Come on, Djokovic. Yeah. So if you want to pop over, mate, I'm not going to be doing that. Morning, Cozzy. How you doing? Tune into Cozzy's channel. Cozzy118 BMK. He's released the video this week. Class. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a track scenery update, and a very raunchy. Say no more. Good morning, John. How you doing, my friend? Two Johns in the place. It's my old joke, isn't it? Two Johns don't make a right. Yes. I'm so glad you're here, DeLeon. Your intro is amazing. I need to watch that film with Michael Keaton. I'm going to have to do the impression. Welcome to DeLeon. Brilliant. If you're not subscribed to DeLeon's channel, get over there and hit the subscribe button. His latest video is just creative comedy genius. Brilliant. Good work, DeLeon, mate. Good work. Yes, Cam. Not one special guest, but two special guests. And I've got less than 7 minutes before I'm bringing the first one on. So if you need the toilet or a coffee, now's your time. Because in just a few minutes, we're getting the first special guest on. And he has travelled in a long way. Yes, Cam. Two. And not to be confused with Two Lines Tuesday by Marty Ford. Marty's like me, he's of an age, so he can't stay up until the middle of the Ulu to watch these. He watches back. So if you're watching this back, Marty, good morning, my friend. Doing the Dave K. More coffee. Right then. Oh, yes. Mark Wright is in the house. Mark Wright, good morning. So anyone looking for spare parts or stuff like that, Mark is your man. He's never far away from me. Just to flick you up a bit of brand awareness. And that's me rocking some offset bearings. And then more stuff from Staffs. And I tell you what, one of my favourite things from Staffs is, since we're on, are these, and Travis talks about these a bit, is these magnetic trays to keep your bits on while you're doing a job. So I bought a couple more in a week, because now what I do is I have a tray per project. So this project is for my Legends. This one is the McLaren, sorry. This one is Pioneer Ford Mustang. And I stopped there at 3. I think too many trays and you start to look like a canteen. So the whole special guest, I see you in the lobby. Are you ready to come on, my friend? Give us a thumbs up if you are. He's giving us the thumbs up. Get in. G'day, Reese. Right then, so I'll do a quick introduction and then we'll talk about it. We'll talk. So my next special guest is from Canada. He is a big YouTube star. He doesn't realise it yet, but he is massive. He's going to be like the Oprah of the hobby, bringing in special guests like for fun, really informative. He is like us. He's obsessed with slot cars. Let's get him on. He can tell us his story. You're going to enjoy this one. Good morning, Andy. Good morning, Ruben. I want to introduce from Conquest Racing Club this morning, fresh on Track Fans TV, Rahul. Here he is. Good morning, Rahul.
What's up, Pete? How are you?
How you doing? I'm going to pause that music in the background so we've got proper sound. I am good, buddy. How are you doing?
What a big intro that was.
Well, I'd normally do more, but I don't want to ruin your thunder or anything. So,
was good.
Where are you from?
Where am I from? Toronto.
Yep, Conquest.
Yeah, Conquest. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I just started YouTube last year in January, so very new to it.
My friend.
Yeah, it's been fun. Mostly just I was looking for a subject to learn camera and videography, and slot cars seemed the challenge, so picked it up, started doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you always been into slot cars, or is this a new thing?
Well, I grew up in Kenya, Africa, so my first my great grandfather had a slot car track. It was a Scalextric track, 20-meter track. Yeah, I grew up around them. And then I didn't get my first slot car track till the 80s. I got the MG
How
Metro.
Old are you? How old are you?
Probably older than you.
I'm 46.
I am older than you.
I love it.
Yeah, so so I was I got my first MG Metro track. I had it was a weird situation. Basically, I used to be a big soccer fan, and Crystal Palace had just made it. I had got to the FA Cup final. They were down 3-0. Ian Wright walked on. Crystal Palace.
Okay, yeah.
And
for the viewers.
And then Ian Wright walks on and he scores 3 goals. And I said to my uncle that Crystal Palace would make it to the top 3 and qualify for the Champions League the next season. And he said, if that happens, I'll buy you whatever you want. And so I got to get a Scalextric track from that. So I got my oval track. It was a really small oval MG Metro track. And I busted up those cars. But yeah, I've been around slot cars forever. And then when I moved to Canada, I actually destroyed the track. I brought the track from Kenya to Canada, and I embedded it into a wargaming table, and it got destroyed. It was with water effects and everything else. So something similar to what I'm doing today. But so that track got destroyed. And then in 2008, I'd gone with a bunch of my friends to a local go-kart track, and we were supposed to go there to spend my friend's birthday. And we get there, and there's a little shop in the corner. It's got this slot car track, and I didn't do go-karts that day. My friends did, but I didn't. And I walked out with 3 digital kits that day. And yeah, I've been I've been racing digitally ever since. So
cool. Well, from everyone and me personally, I'd like to say thank you, because the content you bring on a regular basis is really good. And it's like some people I find you can find that they'll do content for content's sake because they feel they have to. But when I watch you, it feels natural. It feels like, you're connected to what you're doing. So, and you was just telling me before, for all of the kind of stuff that you paint and do, you got your first white kit.
Yeah, so I've never painted a slot car. I've never built a custom slot car. I've never painted a slot car. I'm a collector, so I don't even tune as much as you guys do. I understand the tuning. I understand like, I guess I've done it to my career cars, but I'm not like a hobbyist where like I'll break down an NSR or a Thunder slot. But I do love cars, so I used to own my own performance shop for rail cars, and I raced rail cars for a very long time until I got something called Moneras, which I was told to stop racing. Actually, I
Yeah.
hit the wall at 200 kilometers an hour with my race car, and that was the end of that.
Is that
And
all?
they told me that I could not race anymore. So I sold my performance shop. I sold everything to do with racing, sold all my race cars. And then I decided, well, I need a hobby, right? And at the end of 2019, I decided to pick up videography. And
Yep.
then, everything happened, everything got
Yeah, it
shut
did.
down.
Well, you
And I
had
was
time
like,
to learn about it.
yeah, exactly. And then I was like, well, I need a subject to shoot, and I wanted
Yeah.
something I wanted speed, right? And so I pulled out my slot car track, which was in boxes, and I put it together, and I started to shoot the cars, and that's when I started really just releasing videos. Um, and yeah, that's how I got back into it. And since then, my mission is just to collect slot cars. I want to get 1,000 cars in my collection. That's my goal, and that's all I do is just buy lots of cars, and I enjoy them a lot. I enjoy reviewing cars. I treat them like I'm reviewing rail cars. It's a weird
Yeah.
thing with me, and I shoot them like I'm shooting rail cars as much as possible. And it's a challenge to shoot because they're very small. They move really fast, and my goal was always to do the
Donate.
slow motion stuff. So that's what I do. Right.
Do you remember that first car you put on the track
When?
for the filming?
Oh, for the filming, it was the Huracan GT3 Orange Theory.
We love a Lambo. We love a
Yep.
Lambo on here.
I'm a GT3 nut, so my favorite
Okay.
genre to race is GT3 cars. I'm not a Le Mans guy. I'm not an LMP guy. I'm not a Group 5 guy. I'm pure GT3 nut.
Not
And
vintage.
yeah, yeah, and so that's the problem is like I have very little knowledge about the older spec cars.
Me too.
Right? So
Don't tell anyone, I'll be ruined.
I think the most history I have is with rally cars because I grew up around them.
Yep.
But yeah, so
Cool. So you've just redeveloped your track because you've had a great track for a long time, which we saw when you did the shadow filming, which for me is an iconic video. That was a really good bit of VT that made all of us sit here scratching our heads going, yeah, he's just upped the game here. He's just absolutely smashed it. Now we've got to do like something spectacular, not in competition, not at all, but just in the kind of way you delivered that shadow video, those 3 minutes from someone who produces. That was genius, mate. So compliments to that. Talk
thank
to me
you.
though about your new track. What's the reason that you've changed your track?
Well, here's the issue, right? The DDT track was built when I built the DDT track. It was a way for me to capture data because I'm a data guy, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, how would I build a track that anyone could build around the world, right? That's my whole mission. My mission is to standardize the slot car world as much as possible so we can compete against each other globally, which is part of my global racing league that's launching in October this year. But so basically, what I did was I took the kit, one of the digital kits that you could buy, and I took all the pieces out and I created the DDT. So if you notice, it was all 1 in 60 turns, just like you'd get in a Carrera set,
Yeah.
and straight. So it was very limited
It's
with
quite
what I
fast.
could do. Right? It's small. It was a 12-foot by 6-foot track. It was all tight turns, and you shoot it for a year. I could do it in my sleep. I could put down the camera wherever I wanted and shoot it, and it was becoming boring. I'll be
Yeah,
honest, and I
I
started
understand that.
to lose interest in shooting cars because as much as I love cars and I love to shoot them, it wasn't exciting for me because it wasn't a challenge anymore. Because I knew exactly what I'd do to every car, so it became monotonous, right? I mean, reviewing the car is great. The micro and the speed photography is cool, but actually getting the footage was easy. And I knew I had space, and I wanted a really big track. So what happened was the whole thing. Where it got started was my daughter has been with me racing since the beginning. Like she's 12.
Brilliant.
So she has her own set of cars. She has her own way of tuning them. And and another thing that she loves to do is build Lego. So we have a big Lego collection. And I was complaining. I was saying like I was got bored of shooting cars, and she noticed I wasn't shooting any videos. So she asked me, you know, why are you not shooting? I said it's getting boring. So she's like, well, why don't we combine Lego with slot cars, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a brilliant idea, you know.
She's the
like
creative director.
yeah, exactly. So so I had to rethink what I wanted to do, and I said, well, I do a lot of hobbies. Why not integrate as many hobbies as I can into this track, right? So the war gaming, Lego, etc. Try and mix it all into one track. Let's see if we can build a track. So I wanted a separate track for the Lego City. So initially, I bought a Carrera Go track, 1/43 scale, because they released the Carrera Go cars that were Lego chassis, but they just didn't fit. And the new Lego cars are a little bit larger than a 1/43 scale. So I ended up switching out the Carrera Go to a Scalextric track.
Nice.
And I got the... Yeah, sure. You can have a look at it. Yeah.
So and then talk us through it. Right. So I'm going to share the screen, track fans, and we're going to have a look, and Rahul's going to talk us around his track. I'll mute the video as we're watching it if you want to talk us through it.
Sure.
And if you want to pause it, Rahul, just tell me and I'll just stop it at a particular place.
Yeah, no worries.
Sure. Because we've got the tools. We're pros-ish.
There you go.
Okay. So, right then. Excuse me. Here we go. Just mute that. So that is playing. We'll have a little bit of intro. Gets the intro empty. So here we go. Tell me when to pause it.
Yeah, so this is a very long straight. This is a 28-foot straight all the way down. So I wanted a really, really long straight. It has a double pit lane. And I'm going through here on my ideas of doing the, like my ideas for the pit lane and everything else here. But as you come down the track, just I was going through some of the ideas I had here on the pit lane. So if you watch this video back, I explain why I'm like revolving the camera. But you can forward it a little bit here. Right? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, so here we go, pit lane 1 and then pit lane 2. And then I cut my own MDF. I have my own laser cutter, so I cut like my own pit lanes. Like my own pit lane building, and I was just wondering whether I should use it in this track configuration or not. So I was asking people for opinions here, because those are the Carrera ones, and this one right here is actually cut on my own laser cutter. So we can just forward a little bit here, Pete. Yeah.
Just keep saying forward or stop.
Yeah, keep on forwarding a bit. Yeah, so we come down the front straight, and then we are going into this. There's a first turn, which is a 2 and 30, and then around that 2 and 30, I'm hoping to work with Magnetic Racing. I've talked to Doug, and he's sending me grandstands. He's putting together an order for grandstands. And then as you come through the turns, you actually enter into this S turn that's underneath here. And this is where I'm doing a military base. So it's an homage to the Warhammer world, which I've been in for many, many moons. So it's going to be a full military base with all the terrain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you come through. So this bottom area here is all military base. It swoops through, and we have like all the bunkers. I have all the buildings. We've fully painted, airbrushed. There's a lot of terraforming here. You can see the little turrets and everything that we have.
Yeah.
I have to build. There's a lot of cliff faces, and then we come out of the military base, and right here is where I want to put the Ferris wheel and the refreshment stands from Magnetic Racing. So create like a little fun fair kind of
Have you seen
area.
the size of it?
Yeah. Well, that's that area right there is actually 2 feet by 2 feet. Pete, it's a pretty big area there. Looks small on camera.
Yeah.
And then over here, I'm going to terraform some mountains and have a waterfall because I want to do some water effects.
Yeah.
And then you climb up and you go around the top of the base here. So we have check lanes. I have 2 check lanes, 3 sectors, and the track wraps around and goes around the top here of the base, which you're seeing right here.
Straight.
Yeah, so it's a straight, and then it's all turns, and then you're down into the back straight here, which goes all the way down through the wall. So I tore down the walls here and opened up the second room.
Yeah.
And so now, yeah, walls. Well, who needs them? So yeah, we go down the front straight and we enter this squeeze turn, and then you're into the Lego City here, which is called Crash City. So and if you see here, like we're building a full Lego City out. So you can see the Scalextric track in the Lego City below.
Yeah. What are those lilac color, pink color things?
So that's all foam core because I don't work well. I don't have all the woodworking tools. So everything is actually the whole track is sitting on extruded foam, which I cut to shape, which will be cut to shape and terraformed. So it will look all nice and clean.
Yes. Done. Good shout. Wow. Check that out.
So if you pause here, you can see the Lego City. So the Lego City right now, you can see the Scalextric track is in there. It's got the jumps. It's got 4 intersections. So it looks like a proper city. The center square that you see empty with all the trucks and stuff is actually going to be a revolving showcase. So every season we'll change it up. So Christmas we'll have a Christmas village in the middle. And then we'll switch it up during the seasons. My daughter builds a lot of the smaller buildings. You'll see the little micro bricks all around. She builds all those. I have actually 5 YouTube channels. So one of the YouTube channels is channels dedicated to Lego. So we build all the kits on that channel. So every kit you see here is built on that channel and then placed into the Lego City as we build it.
That's awesome. You got some architecture going on here.
Yeah, so we have the Arkham. So where the jump is where the Arkham Centurium is, which is from Marvel Doctor Strange's building. So that jump is placed where Doctor Strange would do his shenanigans, kind of thing. So it's got some. It's going to have like some cool little little mini stories within this Lego City.
This is good.
Yeah.
And you got a market square.
So we got the square is the cool part, which is where we'll be switching up a lot of the city. So every season there'll be something new, and then I have all the Lego chassis. So we're gonna do a special build. So we'll do 30 minutes. You get all the parts. You get your Lego chassis. You put together a car, and then see how far it can jump. Or 30 minutes, see how many laps you can get in before you crash. 30 minutes, exactly. So how many parts fall off your car, like all those kind of like little mini kind of adventures that we'll be doing in the Crash City. That's something that we'll be shooting. And then obviously 2 Lego cars smashing will make great slow motion videography, right? I also have a smoke machine that's integrated into this track. I didn't mention that before, but the smoke machine will actually create smoke effects inside the military base and stuff, so I can shoot cars coming out of the fog, which is something I've always wanted to do. Because I'm very curious to see if the stock car will leave wind pattern as it comes through smoke. So it should be interesting, right?
What sort of as it smashes through it, whether it sucks it through?
Yeah, so you get the, you get a smoke trail, right? I just wanted to see if I can capture any of that.
Exactly. So if we just flip into the chat just quickly, because got a lot of people showing quite a bit of kudos for you guys. Oh, hang on a second. Morning, Travis. How you doing, legend? So
yeah, he's it's his fault I got into this whole stuff.
Yeah, he's good for it. Yeah, I'll blame him as well.
Yeah, he's the first person that reached out to me when I launched my channel, and we had a chat. So Travis has been like one of the core people that got me involved in stock cars, and I'll always be thankful for him. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. He's like the fairy godmother, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
But so G-Som, nice to see you on board this morning. Good morning, grandson of man. So it's looking pretty solid. Maybe not as ambitious as planned. Did you have something else planned for this then?
Yeah, this is a full tear down and rebuild of my track again. I initially had built, I had a really cool concept where it's the real world was to start, and then you dropped into this second tier, second dimension, which was the Warhammer world with 2 armies fighting and everything, and bases and titans. And the one reason why I scrapped that project was when we built the shelf for the real world, it was too high, and when it was really hard to work on the track. And as much as I love the concept was amazing. I just felt like it would just be a chore. When something stops being fun, then there's no point doing it, I feel. So I tore it all down. It took me 2 12-hour days to tear down everything we had done and restart from scratch again. So, but that's part of track building, right? And I didn't plan this track on any planner, and I did it all naturally. So it came together very naturally. It joined together really naturally. Everything.
You got off lightly.
Yeah, so it was great.
I've been talking to Policar about sponsoring the new track in the den because I'm flipping to Policar, and green light, they're going for it. Nice. And he says, chatting to Maurizio, he's like, have you got a track design? I was like, I'll get you one. So downloaded 4 different designers. Nah, this didn't work, clunky. So I got my old Scalo track out, built it, as you probably saw a few weeks ago, sent it over to him. 2 weeks later, have you got a track design? I was like, no, mate. I said, what software do you use? And he's told me TCAD by Policar, which is no relation to Policar, just coincidental. Genius, really good to use. And I used it so that I could send them a track to know what to use. But if you ever wanted to design a track, I'd recommend that software, TCAD.
Oh, I have 2 track planners to try, like a proper, because I used to run a club, so I actually have a commercial track as well that I put down at our RC center. When I used to run my own basement league, we used to change our track every month. So I used to run 1 month with 4 heats, 30 laps per heat. We used to do it 4 times on the track and then switch it up. So I used to use a track planner a lot. I still have a good track planner, but I just feel like there was something about laying down a track and doing it naturally. Like when you're actually like fitting things together, it's a very therapeutic process, and it gives you a little bit more. Like I find with the track planner, you get rigid. You understand your dimensions. Yeah. So laying down a track and just letting it flow, I think you get a really good flow when you just lay down track. And sometimes it teaches you good track design just by doing it that way. And I felt that was the way to do it on this track.
Exactly. What's your 5 YouTube channels?
Well, if you go to Conquest Racing Club, right at the bottom, you'll see all 5 of my channels, as well as my daughter's channel. She's got her own channel.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, just before we carry on, Dave, I can see you in there, mate. So we'll give it a few minutes. So what we've got here, Rahul, is, while we have you, is a couple of viewers' tracks, because we do a section, as you know, on the show where we have a look at other track fans' tracks and see what's occurring, basically. So this was my track before I downscaled, obviously.
Right.
And I wish. But first,
you got to teach me how you do those water effects. They're amazing. They look so realistic.
After about an hour on the show, it will come apparent.
Yeah.
So first up, we got Terry's track. So now the reason that I've put this on here, Terry got in touch. The reason I put this on here all is because he's bought this track as it is, and he's bought this as it is, and he's going to give it some TLC and build it up and repair it and make it to his liking, which is quite interesting, because people do this. They make tracks and they sell them, and it's sort of, if you're not creative, this could work for you. If you've got no time but you've got money, this will work for you. But there is that satisfaction, like you said, of completing a new design. So I'm quite keen to see how he changes it. What do you reckon we could do with this?
This is a classic double loop track. Yeah. It's a fast track. I mean, it really comes down to space requirements, right? And I think that's where everyone gets jammed up, is space, right? It's not exactly. I think if we're all given unlimited space, we design crazy cool tracks. But when it comes down to limited space, one thing that you have to understand is, blind corners, how many blind corners you have, how much visibility you have for the track, and how many tight turns you have. Like, it's all about whether you either want a very technical track or you want a fast track, right? Yeah. So technical tracks are more twisty, turny, but they really put the car through its paces, but they'll never get the car to hit top speed, right? And then you get fast tracks like this one, where you can get the car to speed really quickly. You have to have good brake control, and it allows the car to like stretch its legs and fly, right? So it really comes down to that. We do for the commercial track, I have a hard, fast outers and then very technical inners. So it's just the style of track that we prefer, where we get a little bit of speed, because I think slot cars love speed, and I just love to get them at speed. So I think it comes down to how technical. Yeah. Well, I think it also comes down to what kind of cars you like to race, right? As well, because some cars, like an F1 car, will suit a track like this, but when you get a long, like tight, twisty turn track, F1 cars don't really perform that well, but rally cars would love it, right? So I think it's what you want to build and what kind of cars you're really into will determine where you go here.
Yeah, so like Rob says as well, if you look into rally car tracks, if you like tight and twisty turns. But in regards to sort of decorating a track, so thanks ever so much, Terry, for sending that in, my friend. We've got a regular track fan, big track fan here, Daz Hall. He's been building his track along the weeks and months that we've been friends, and here's his latest installation. So what's better than one Dunlop grandstand? 2 Dunlop grandstands. As you can see with his favourite car, the Jaguar Group C legend there.
I think that's a Mazda, isn't it? That's the Mazda 787B.
It might be.
Yeah, come on, Pete.
Showing off my car knowledge. Oh dear, love it.
Yeah. So that's a very famous car.
And then last track for us, Rahul, before we sort of wrap it up and get ready for the next guest. That's cool. Is we've got youngest track fan out there, or almost youngest track fan, second youngest track fan, because I think Elliot or Lewis is younger. But this is George. George's age, I'm going to shoot myself now, 5 from memory. So he's working with his dad, Lionel, and he's got his first slot car set. Look at that, mate. This is pretty good for your first hit, right?
That is amazing. I actually like that track a lot. It's got the speed and the technicality to it. I think it's a great small space track, like right off the bat. I think it's an awesome track. Well done.
Exactly. Yeah, well done, George. Thanks for beating your dad up and getting him to build the track. You've got to do it every Sunday. The living room is for living in, and racing on the track is living. So it all works out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Fantastic. So I'll just remove that for a second. Hang on. No, I won't. I'll add it back. As you got a close-up shot of George here on the right-hand side, it looks like he's just about to have a corner crash, or he's just recovered. I don't know, but looks like a whole lot of fun over there.
Yeah.
Thanks ever so much, Lionel. Cheers for that, buddy. So, what's next, Rahul? What's on your... So, we need to get you to 1,000 subscribers. Like I said when we had a chat, I didn't realise, and you're very much like me, you don't look at this stuff. You just have fun and sort of share what you do. You remember. Half the time I don't remember to hit record, but most of the time I do. And the amount of stuff we discard is incredible. So I really appreciate you hitting record a lot and bringing us this stuff. So what's next?
Well, I'm trying to get the track that you saw operational in 2 weeks. So that's a huge, because right now the track is operational, but I'm putting in the jumpers and a couple of like little things I got to do to get the wiring in place. And then the track is operational and I can start recording some runs on it, because that's more important to me. I catalog everything on my website. So conquestgamingclub.com. If you go there, you see every car I've run, every shot I've taken. To do one video for my car reviews takes me 6 hours of shooting. So I shoot about 6 hours of worth of video to show you 15 minutes of it. Yeah, right. But like that's the whole plan, is to start to catalog this new track. I write my own code and my own software to do that. That's one. The second thing is you'll see a lot of first-person view slow motion, because I bought a couple of cameras to do that. So that's the second.
Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I watched that on your 6 month. No, not 6 months. Tech update.
Yeah. So so that's the second thing. We have the Global Racing Leagues launching in October. So I'm coding that whole thing. We have 20 entries. We have 20 racers. It's a standardized global inventory that we build for. We are building 4 tracks. It's 4 races: October, November, break in December, and January and February. It's all Carrera cars. It's 4 different categories of cars, and we race those 4 tracks. The first 2 tracks are straight out of the box. The last 2 tracks will allow for some upgrades. So I'm busy working on that and putting together all the web technology behind it. So, and I'm going to be painting my first white kit, and hopefully before the end of the year create my first custom stock car. That's my goals.
Awesome. Right. And so then we've seen your channel, Conquest Racing Club. You do a fantastic live stream, the Slot Avengers. When can we see that Slot Avengers next episode?
It's always Monday nights. It's always 7 p.m. Eastern.
That's midnight in UK.
That's right. Hey, I'm here at what is it? It's 3:15 in the morning now. So I'm here.
Thank you very much, mate, because that is some effort. Wow, thank you ever so much, Rahul. So everyone, this is Rahul. let's get him up to 1,000, and we retro watch. Unless you're Dave from Slot R, who needs no sleep and watches you lifetime because he's a legend.
Yeah.
But have a read through the chats while we're cracking on, Rahul. There's a lot of love in there for you, buddy. And
yeah, I will.
Like always, mate, thank you ever so much. And we'll have some banter off screen as we do soon.
Always.
Right,
so last year,
go. Yeah.
Last year when I started, I said I was watching one of your videos. I was very early, and I said I wish Pete knows my name one day. And here we are, right? A year later. So I wanted to thank you for being the first person to put me as a guest on the show. So thank you so much, Pete.
Wow.
And welcome. I can't wait to hear the rest. I want to see what your next guest got to say. But anyway, we'll take
he's got his work cut out. I can see him laughing in the lobby.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll let you get on with your show. Thank you for having me on, bud.
If you make it to the end of this show, I'll be impressed. But
I'll be here.
Thank you ever so much. 3:15 a.m. Mate, that's a round of applause for Rahul. Thank you very much, buddy. You have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Right then. So, thank you ever so much, Rahul, from Conquest Racing Club. That was awesome. We had a few more people sneak into the chat room just as we come to a conclusion. So, right. We've got a guest coming up in just a few minutes. So we've got just about 6 minutes before the next guest, just in case he wants to do some pre-chat preparation, if you know what I mean. So just before we crack on to the next guest, just to give him a few minutes to prepare and for me to prepare, we've been looking at a good friend of the channel, a good friend, I'd like to say now, Dick Guerin. He's created these masterclass trees. He created trees for his slot car track recently and pretty much blew Facebook away with it. A lot of feedback from them, a lot of love for these. So we've been in touch, you know, how do you do it? What do you do? And he said, I'd love to make a video, but I don't know how to do it. So I said, send us your VT and I'll package it up so that we can have a look at it. So I've done that. He's done it. I've done it. He's in the room, Dick Guerin. Here we go. I'm going to play Dick Guerin bringing us a quick few-minute tutorial on how to build those trees. So I know Tara's in the room. We're going to be looking for Tara's comments straight after this, but Dick's a lovely guy. He's taken the action to come on the camera and have a go, and I'm really proud of him for it. Well done, mate. Well done, because you are actually a natural. So no further ado, I'm going to put this on the full screen. Dave, few minutes. We'll see you. Enjoy this. Here he comes.
For a how-to on how I make my trees. So these are very basic. There's plenty of information out there on YouTube. I've been asked. I'm giving it a crack. Okay, the trees that I make are made out of a sedum plant, Sedum Autumn Joy, some PVA and water 50-50 mix, woodland scenics, coarse turf and fine turf, and these are the trees in question. So you can see they look pretty good. They're not perfect. They're not really modelled off anything in particular, although they do look a little bit like Aussie gum trees, and so that's what I've gone for. There's a few more here. So that's what we're going to make. As I said, PVA water glue, woodland scenics, coarse and fine turf. I'll show you how I do it. So we take our sedum plant. Basically, we dip it in the PVA and water glue mix. Just make sure we coat it. And just give it a bit of a spin, just to get the excess off. Could use a deeper container, but this is all I've got at the moment. Make sure we get it all on there so that everything sticks to it. I do use spray adhesive as well, so any bits that I can't get the PVA glue on, I will just use spray adhesive. Okay, So we basically just dip it into the coarse turf. And just get as much on there as we can while it's just sitting in the container. And then anything else you can just dab it on manually. Just get it in there. There's no science to it. Just put it in as evenly as you can. A little bit on the undersides. Doesn't have to coat the whole thing. And that's the start. It's not pretty, but it will be. Some spray adhesive. Now choose your colours of fine turf. Just sprinkle away. Simple, easy process. Anyone can do this. If I can do it, anyone can. I've just watched a few videos and gave it a crack, basically. So these ones are like a burnt earth sort of colour. The other ones I made were a medium green. I like to add a couple of different shades just to give the appearance of leaves. And we'll give that another spray. And that just locks that layer in, if you like. Different colour. A couple more accents here and there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, another layer of spray adhesive. And let's lock that in. And I'll give it some medium green to bring it out. Spray adhesive. And there we have it. One Aussie gum tree. That's basically how I do it. You can spend as much time or as little time. I like to plant these in a group, so it gives an effect of a dense bunch of trees. So they don't have to be perfect, especially if they're at the far end of the track, which is probably where this one's going to go. Okay, hope you like that. Hope you learned something. Thanks.
Cheers, Dick. That was amazing. How good was that? So thank you ever so much for that, Dick. I hope everyone picked up on that. I thought I'd put it on the session so that you can all watch it back later when you're ready to make trees like me. So got another special guest for you, and he's no stranger to the show, but it's his first time on the show. So if you're just tuning in, if you just come on board while we were watching Dick teaching us about some scenery trees, you're tuned into Sunday Slot Car Sessions. Myself, Pete Brown, bringing you slot car mayhem, news, topical, current affairs, all that jazz, special interviews, tracks, cars, people, the lot, every Sunday, 7:30. And this week is no exception. We now have Dave from Slotar joining me live. Morning, Dave. Here he is.
You all right?
I am sound, mate. I am sound. And I would normally do an intro, but it feel like we already know you.
Well, yeah.
So,
apologies for the crap camera, by the way. Because we had that storm last night. For about 6 hours last night, our house had half a power cut.
Oh, really? I
So
have half a power cut.
It's when there's enough power to run the skybox, but not enough power to run the TV.
Oh, that's a dilemma.
Yeah, and it turns out the slot shed computer didn't like that very much. It's currently giving me blue screens, so we're on kind of a backup. Hope it works.
You haven't got Mrs. R riding a cycle out the side with a dynamo on it to give you power while you're on this chat.
Not quite. Although when we were at Slotfest, she did do that bicycle.
Oh, the Goodwood hill climb.
Yeah, and I was thinking about it then. I thought, oh, that's handy, isn't it? That saved me a few quid.
Yeah. That got called off for the first time in 30-year history yesterday.
Yes, because of the weather.
Yeah. You know, we've gone mad here in the UK. We used to just ride, used to ride in all sorts of weather, but now,
I looked at that and I thought, well, a lot of people put on these events for money, and His Grace isn't doing it for the money, is he?
No.
So he just thought it wouldn't be safe, so he cancelled the day. Fair enough.
Let's see it, Dave. Let's see it. Enough of this Goodwood talk. Where's your coffee?
You want to see that?
No, I want to see your coffee.
You want to see that?
Yeah, there it is.
Oh.
More coffee. That's what we love.
That's coffee number 3.
Is it? Yeah. That's my number 2, but I have to watch how much I drink because I don't have the movement on a Sunday morning. So, Dave, for those who don't know Dave, if you're just tuning into the show today for the first time ever, Dave here manages another YouTube channel called Slot R. I'm just going to share my screen so people can visualize what that is. Here's Slot R's YouTube channel. Now, how long have you been doing this for, Dave?
I think the first video, that little blue Fruit of the Loom BMW that's up the top there. The first video I did, I put a Slot Technic chip in that, and that was about the middle of November. I mean, there's some little testy things before that, but yeah, that Racer Sideways 320 at the bottom there. That was the first one I did, I think.
This one, amazing. I mean, it looks good. This looks established. You know, you come on. If you look at my channel, Dave, you'll see some absolutely lunatic videos at the early stages because it was me and Albert having fun. And then it starts to get a little bit more interesting, like production techniques and stuff. But yours from the outset, yours looks like you might already know a thing or two about computers. How did you get into slot cars? I suppose is the question that I'm asking.
Oh, like everybody else. I think when I was about 12 and I got an Aurora AFX kit for Christmas.
Oh, and really? Like a HO kit?
Yeah. And then I think I'd had that about a year or so. And then I think AFX went bust. Yeah. But at the time, the factory where they made the stuff that was in this country was not far from you.
Okay.
And my uncle lived up that way as well. And he used to walk into town to go to work every day. And he walked past a toy shop in some shopping centre.
Yeah.
And when AFX went bust, this toy shop bought up all their bankrupt stock.
Wow.
So they were selling off cars for like, back in the days when I suppose a car was about £6 or something. They were 20p each. So he just went in and just bought crates of this stuff. So I probably had the biggest AFX set you've ever seen.
Have you still got it?
No. I know exactly where I left it and when I left it. I was renting a house and I put it in a loft and I had to move out of that house fairly quickly in 2001. And I remember looking at that box thinking, I'm never going to live anywhere I've got enough room to set that back up.
Oh, yeah. And
here
we are 22 years later.
So if you live in Rectory Lane in Chelmsford, look in the loft and see if there's a massive box of AFX. And if there is, let me know because it's mine.
Yeah, I want it back. Yeah, I want it. It's mine. It's got my name on it. So, why? What made you hit record? What was the kind of overriding idea behind it?
I was doing a music podcast on Mixcloud for ages, and then tail end of last year, Mixcloud changed their license and said, "No, you're going to have to pay us if you want to." Keep
Really?
Yeah, you have to now. Whereas you used to be able to do something and just upload it.
Yeah.
And now you have to pay about £12 a month to do that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that didn't really work for me because I'm not really into hobbies.
Twitch territory, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I ended up without a creative outlet and thought, oh, okay, well, I can still put things up on YouTube for free. I'll try that instead.
Yeah, because I noticed on the video that you produced before the weekend, the opening of the 1,000th subscriber box, which me and Darren Hall have been like beside ourselves trying to get inside. That sounds so wrong on so many levels. There it is.
Trying to get inside Mrs. Slaughterhouse box. Don't say that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, and now we know what it is.
Yeah, we do.
It is. What car is that? Remind me.
It is a Mercedes 190E from Slotted.
Beautiful piece of equipment. I seriously urge you guys to go and watch that video. But where you're sitting, how you sort of sit here like this, just sort of down in this corner, it looks very music studio-ish.
It would be if I was sitting there. I'm not. I'm sitting in a different office. But yeah,
Okay.
it's not that music studio-ish. It's one of those little tiny 4-channel Behringer desks.
Yeah.
And a £16 boom microphone thing that I got off eBay. That's a passive one, so I have to run it through that little desk so I can put the phantom power to it to make it work, and then it just goes straight into my computer. It looks flash, but it is literally a fader on a desk.
It's phantom mixing desk, phantom power. I remember learning about the differences between phantom and mains when I did my production course many years ago. So what's your favorite car, Dave? What's your favorite slot car, or is it like kids, you can't pick one?
It changes. It's a bit like music. It changes.
Oh yeah. At the moment, what's your favourite slot car?
At the moment, my favourite slot car is probably that yellow Revo Slot Viper.
Okay.
Because it's just awesome. You can throw it at any corner and it sticks. It's just great. And if it does slide, it slides like in a really predictable way. So you can just control the drift and everything.
Yeah, it kind of drifts out, and then just the straight is in the right sort of position to floor it and straight in.
Squares the corner right off and off you go, yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately, I haven't got enough straight to really use the top end of it, but, you know.
We could do what Rahul did. He knocked his walls out. You could do like a little sort of shed extension tunnel.
Oh, yeah. The trouble is, if I try to extend my shed, it's going to end up over the top of my pond.
You got a pond?
Yeah, it's only a little pond, but it is right next to the shed.
Well, I've got a pond. It's over the park, but I call it my pond. The dog likes to go in there. And so you've got Carrera. How long have you had your track set up?
Ooh, well, it was... Oh, I'm trying to get this now. So it would have been the very end of 2021, possibly. Yeah, the very end of 2021. I had to rebuild my shed because it went rotten and it nearly fell down. And I thought, well, I might as well build it a little bit bigger and put a platform in it and put a slot car track on it. So it was probably the start of last year that the track ended up being on a permanent table in the shed, and it was around about April by the time I'd just gone, no, I need to get a digital set. I think it had been set up as an analog set for about 3-4 months. So I was like, no, I need to get a digital set. And then sort of 6 months after that, I put a video up. It's been a bit of a wild ride.
And I tell you, it's a great channel, mate. Honestly, not saying it because you're here. Genuinely, I do like your content because you're a little bit rebellious, and there's a slight anarchy streak in there because you do things that I couldn't even dream of doing, like the thought of picking up a magnetic racing cafe, which, as you said, has got 10 sheets of stuff to do with no instructions. I mean,
to be fair, I did look at the instructions. Where is it? I printed them out. I just decided to ignore them.
It's hilarious because Ian and Doug in here, and they'll vouch for this. But I've got like the Marshall Post, you know, the most basic one that you could get. I think it's number 55. And I'm like texting Ian and Doug, like going, "Can you send me the password? Because I've sprayed over the password when I was like promoting it. So, to keep your intellectual property, send me the password. And it's like the most basic thing ever. But
I've got a video on one of those somewhere as well.
Hats off to you, mate, for doing that. And the cafe looks great with the open face.
Well, you should see the cafe now it's finished. Hopefully, unfortunately, all of that video is currently on the computer in the other room that's doing blue screens.
Well, if you need to, come over.
Just drive to Northampton and sort my video out.
Exactly. Bring my nephews with you as well. We'll play track.
Excellent.
So, and then I tell you what has helped me no end is when you did the, I can't remember what you call them, but the little peg barrier thing that you made.
Oh, yeah, those little threaded connector things you get off eBay.
That's right. I'm going to be ready. I'm going to be doing those because I don't know if you saw this when I did it, but I inherited this track from Magnetic
that
Racing.
Looks like a lot of potential for fun.
It's highly addictive. It's changed a lot since you've seen this, but what I'm going to, because there's not that much, believe it or not, there's not that much spare space outside of road. So I'm going to need to do those barriers that you taught us to do on a lot of the corners because I can actually fix them to the track.
Oh yeah, you can screw. Is that just a piece of MDF?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh right,
so
you should better screw through that then, yeah.
Yeah, on these two, on those two far corners. So I'm going to just drop it in. But yeah, anyway, I'll take that off. That was just a quick reminder of how much, well, you can do the track, but if you want to do a good job on the track, it takes time. It's like everything, isn't it? It's like a good relationship. You've got to put into it to get out of it. So same with the track. You've got to put into it to get a good experience out of it. So tell me, what's the next development on your track?
Oh, the Track Fans TV tower.
Hey! I'm so
on that note, if anybody watching has got a little 3D printed figure that looks like Pete, let me know, because I can't find a Pete one.
There is one.
I can't have a Track Fans TV tower without a Pete, can I?
Where is it? I think it's it's down in the den. It's down in the garage, but I got one. But unfortunately, because I was celebrating like this on the scan,
yeah.
But unfortunately, the pose, it looks a little bit EDL.
Oh.
So I'm saying that so the younger viewers don't know what we mean. It looks a little, and I'm just like, I'm celebrating, but it just looks a little bit.
Have you only got the one arm up in the air?
No, I've got two.
Oh, right.
Thank God. Yeah, thank God. And I got two, but it just looks a bit suspect. It looks a bit like I'm stood in the football terrace. Yeah. So I might get another one, like, and then I can put it next to a car, like I'm in Thor, because the detail on them is amazing. Amazing detail.
Yeah, that packet. I bought a pack of figures recently, all the ones I painted, the little sitting down ones for the cafes and bits and pieces. And I was amazed. I think obviously 3D printers they've gone up another resolution, so they're not quite as grainy as they used to be fairly recently. Yeah, which means that the detail on the characters is. Sorry,
is that an idea that you've thought of getting into 3D? And
I did look at a 3D printer, and then I thought, no, I could buy a lot more slot cars. And the thing with 3D printers is it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? I must know half a dozen people who bought a 3D printer, went through all the exercises, and now don't know what to do with it.
Well, you should deploy them, mate. Get them loads of chassis prints, figure prints.
I was going to get one of them to do me, those ridiculous Lime electric scooters that people live everywhere in cities, including you. Well, I thought eventually, when I've got everything else built, I'll get somebody to print me out hundreds of those, and I can paint them all up with the little green bits and just chuck them everywhere, all over the layout, in the most stupid places, on the roofs of things. You
have to do orange ones as well as green ones, because we use the ones up here are called Voy, and they're orange in colour.
Oh, right.
But the problem I've got, right, is that you've just opened a mini rant now. So, you know, I'm big on sustainability in a sort of productive way. So I've bought myself, because I was using the electric scooter to get to the train station and commute, and it costs about £8 a day. So I bought myself my own electric scooter, and then a week later, 7 of the train networks said they won't allow them on the network. So long story short, I didn't get the frigging memo. I drove down there, got on Northampton station, which doesn't have this policy, went to work the other side of Rugby. Coming home, they wouldn't let me in the train station with it. They're like, can't come in here with that. I was like, you let me out of here this morning with it. He goes, yeah, you can't come in. I said, and since when? And he goes, look at the sign. And it's like this big in the middle of a massive station. I said, I'm stranded. He goes, sorry, can't let you in. So after about 5 minutes of my best sales pitch, I couldn't convert him. So I had to catch the bus home. The bus driver looked at the scooter and I went, don't you dare. And got on the bus.
That doesn't make sense.
He looked at the scooter, I went, don't you dare. I give him the £2 and got on the bus. It took me an hour and 10 minutes to get home rather than 15.
But what's the reasoning for that? Because those electric scooters are only kind of little. But if you turned up to the station with a mountain bike, they'd let you on, wouldn't they?
Yes, that's I was going to say. It's an ill thought out policy because they're letting mountain bikes on with the same lithium batteries. And do I look like I've bought, like, you know, well, let's not go there with a dodgy scooter, but I've got a good scooter, which is serviced. Anyway, enough of scooters. It is electric, so it kind of lends itself to here. So 1,000 subscribers. What's been your highlight along the way?
Oh, being on here, obviously, Pete.
Oh, come on. You're too modest.
I don't know. But at the moment, I suppose the highlight was turning up to Slotfest and just walking in.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how was your slot festival? Because everywhere we turned, there was slot R stickers.
Yeah. Well,
no, cards.
Business cards, yeah. I just chucked business cards over it. It was really good because we came in, obviously it's upstairs.
Yeah.
So we came in and we came straight up the escalators, and right in front of us was Doug and Ian, who immediately recognised me, which is a really weird thing. That's never happened to me before.
Yeah. That's strange, isn't it?
At which point they went, oh, Dave, you're Dave, come over here. And then gave me said mug.
Yep.
You drink coffee while you're making our kits. You need something to drink coffee out of. Yes, I do. Thank you very much.
Score.
So that was good. And yeah, and then people coming up to me and going, you're Dave, I like your channel. It's
weird,
humbling.
Isn't it?
It's really humbling when that happens.
So strange.
So yeah, that's definitely been my highlight.
Yeah. And have you, so I know that you do sort of loose tuning, and you know, for the cars.
Is that a thinly disguised insult at my tuning?
Oh, no, Dave, no, because I do loose tuning.
I don't really know what I'm doing, but
I say loose tuning because if you flip on and watch someone like James Cleve at Cleve Tech, who kind of strips out a motor, re-copper wires it, and then tunes it and balances that motor, and then, you know, that's tuning. We do loose tuning.
Yeah, I watched that he did that video on that Revo slot, and I thought, why did he buy an assembled one? He should have just bought a load of bits.
What, like a white kit?
Well, yes, like a white kit. Oh,
so
on the subject of white kits.
White kit.
Now, you know that white kit Rahul said he was going to paint? He saw that you've got one and I've got one, so he's got one as well. Is
there a little bit more? It just we're not doing Canada. We're doing Canada as well.
No, I did think the postage might be a bit mad.
I was going to say, yeah. Or unless we have a whip round.
Slotcar 2021 in the chat says, Dave, can you sign my Revo slots?
Yes. So hang on, let's have a run through. So let's do some comments. So Tara, you know Tara, figure extraordinaire from 1 in 32 scale. Strictly figures. Brilliant. Did you see the cockapoos last week?
I did, yes.
Fantastic detail. So there's a lot of chat in here. When is part 2 coming out?
Well, it should be Wednesday if I can get it out of my other computer, which is misbehaving. If it's not Wednesday, imagine me with hard drives and panic.
Well, here's an idea. Tomorrow, Tuesday, and up till about 2 o'clock on Wednesday, I'm going to be in Sofitel, Heathrow. So I'm like halfway to you. And if you can't work out your computer issues by the end of the day, I'll lend you my laptop if you want, because I won't need it for 3 days.
Well, I'll try my luck, but you never know. I mean, at the moment, Windows is doing one of that rebuild hard drive things. I'm worried.
I never trust things. You're a bit IT oriented, so you kind of know about this stuff.
Well, yeah, I've done this for a while, and I'm really still not confident it's going to work. So that says everything.
I tell you, I had a similar situation the last Slot Car Fest. What happened was, bear in mind, it was the second day. It was the Sunday, and I'd done loads of filming through the morning, and then I changed my battery run out, so I changed battery, and I turned the camera on, and it said, memory card corrupted, you may lose data, do you want to continue? I just put the camera away, because the fear of losing all of that data from that day, of all the interviews, the filming, everything, scared the bejesus out of me. When I got home and actually spent a moment to research it, and then I just went around and so I went balls to it, hit the button. It took about 3 seconds and it was on and I had all the data. But for the second half of that day, I'd had to use my mobile phone. So like the interview with Dave Kennedy, the interview with a few Johnny S, was all on my phone. And you can see after a couple of minutes, I'm starting to like get the arm tremor like this. Like, can we talk faster?
Yeah, so, and all day in the back of your mind, there's that thought of, has all that stuff been lost? Has all that stuff? And it doesn't get out of your head. It's in my head now. Yeah. It's like, have I lost all that video? But yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Hopefully Wednesday.
Okay. Well, we got backup if you need it. Let me know by the time I get up tomorrow morning, which is about 5:30, 6, if you need the laptop.
Oh, okay. Cool. Cheers.
There you go, Dave. We need to put glasses on the thumbs up, man.
Oh no, he can't be Pete instead. He's a man in his own right.
Sorry, Pat. Pat's just took one for the team. Brilliant. So I love it. The Fingers loves it.
The Fingers loves everything.
Yeah.
You think I don't sleep? There's somebody that never sleeps.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it, man. I was chatting to Deleon. Welcome to Deleon the other day, because I really liked his latest video. Have you seen? Do you follow Deleon?
Yeah.
The Leon. And his latest video is a bit tongue in cheek. It's not your usual video. It's a comedy sketch, but he's just got it nailed. And he's a similar. He's like, he never sleeps either. Like, these guys just never sleep. All right, let's see. Here you go, Dave. What size is that's a bit of a personal question.
Size of his shed. It's 10 feet wide and 23 feet long, but the end bit of that is
for the younger kids.
No. 3 and
so 3.5 meters, yeah.
By 7.1.
By about 2 meters. Is that about?
Yeah, I think it's 7.1 meters long and 3 meters wide. I think, yeah, something like that. But it's not all slot car track, because there's the kind of bit on the end that's the bit where I tinker with stuff.
Yeah, no worries.
I think the track's about 16 feet long and about 5 foot deep.
That's one good thing about the software that I've used to design this track that I've got for the new track coming for the Den, is when you use TCAD, T for Tango, TCAD by Policar, not Policar the slot, another Policar. It tells you design it. It's really easy to use, which I really enjoyed. But on the next tab, it tells you all the pieces you need, so how many you need, and it tells you the length.
Yeah. That softy royal.de one that I use for the Carrera stuff, that does the same. It'll give you a parts list and what your lane lengths are.
We don't want that. He's his own man. Thumbs up can look like Pete. He'll never look like Pete. He's his own man. He's like a bit like the Stig. Thumbs up man is becoming as iconic as the Stig.
Yeah, he carries that channel for me. He does, honestly.
Yeah, that and your coffee cup, rocking. Yeah, no, right, Dick. Yeah, that's the last thing we need on a scooter. Oh, hang on. Game on. Well, you know, I think we could have conquest in this.
I know, but it's the unlucky person that draws a straw of having to post everything to him.
I'll post it to him. I don't mind. It's about 30 quid. No, I've posted. I used to be a distributor, so I've sent stuff all around the world regularly. To courier something to Canada will be about 30 quid maximum. For the weight it is, maybe up to 10 cars. And probably about 30 quid, yeah. Okay.
We should probably talking about this, because these people don't really know what we're talking about at the moment.
Yeah, well, that's why I've been sort of a little bit, been on the script. But I think, because I get tiles sent to me from, that's about 85 quid for a small box of tiles. So, yeah, that'd be about right, weight compared. So, yeah, we'll look at that in more detail.
Okay.
All right, who else is chatting here? There you go, DK Moon. Yeah, I'm lucky. I've just got a new job, Dave, a few months ago, where I can have an earpiece in and listen to the stream. So I'm catching up with all of the streams now.
Oh, right. Yeah, I tend to have it, because I work on my own here. I tend to have a YouTube stream on instead of the radio, and I'm not watching it, but it's on as like my background noise while I'm working.
That's right.
Apart from Rahul's one, I always manage to at least catch the first 45 minutes. Marty's one, I try and stay up for sometimes, but I can never get to the end of that. It's too late. I have to actually do work in the morning.
Yeah, I can't do it. It kills me off staying up to that time of the evening. Oh,
I mean, I'm quite lucky from the point of view that I can crawl out my pit in the morning and get as far as this chair, and I'm at work. So,
yeah, my new job's good though. I've got 3 days at home, 2 days in the office. Proper hybrid. I'm one of those snowflakes now. It's clutching hybrid hours, not letting it go. But it's just nice, because when I finish work, I mean, I don't finish exactly at 5 in case my boss is watching. I do finish when I've finished the bit I'm working on.
Exactly. This is the thing. If you work from home, you probably do another 10, 15 minutes on the end of every day, just because, I'll get that done.
Oh, easily.
You're not looking forward to a 2-hour horrible commute home.
Yeah, I think if you like what you do and you care about the work that you turn out, then you will do that by natural default. It's I've been an employer of people, and I'll just tell you one story about this guy. I won't say him because it will never watch this, but it's just not fair because he's not here to take the credit for it. But he used to come in every day at 9:20, and we started work at 9. And to most people would turn up between 10 to and 5 to 9, take the coat off, get ready, make a brew, and they're in the chair ready to go by 9:10. That's fair. 20 past 9 he'd turn up, and I used to pull him. I'd be like, hey, mate, can you make an effort? We start at 9. I don't really want the other team like complaining because you're taking the mickey. Anyway, long story short, it was water on deaf ears, fell on deaf ears. So the summer holidays came. First day of the summer holiday, because there's no traffic on the road, he's turned up 10 to 9. I was like, yes, I nearly said his name. You did it, mate. I said 10 to 9, brilliant. You've turned the corner, got you onto it. Following day, 20 past 9. At which point I knew he was taking the mickey. So he lasted about a week or two after that, and then he was gone. But, some people will take the mickey, but other people who actually of an age or have been brought up in the right way, for some of the younger viewers, just do the work you paid for. If you enjoy it, it's not even like work anymore. So that's your job.
Yeah. If you're paid to do a job, do it.
Yeah, precisely.
If you don't want to do it, don't take the wage for it.
Correct. Get another one.
Yeah.
We're so staying off of talking about strikes. But anyway, so what's your plan today, Dave? Before we're going to wrap up in about 5 minutes or so.
Right. But, so the plan, there's 3 things on the list today. There was only 2, but now the first one is try and sort out that computer.
Okay.
And then
if
I've sorted,
idea of what it might be.
No, not at the moment. But I can probably, I don't know. I think in the worst case, I've definitely got the ability to take the hard drive out of the laptop, plug it into one of them little USB things and transfer the files off it. So after that, if it doesn't work, that's the next step. And then I'll work out what I'm going to do. But assuming that works, then I shall finish off editing Cafe Part 2.
Yep.
And then really, I can't leave this sitting around any longer. I'm going to have to, so it's a slot car and I haven't run it yet.
Do you enjoy the editing?
Sometimes.
Oh, I love it.
I like doing the editing on a What's in the Box video, because you just point the camera at it, video it, and then just talk over it afterwards. That's easy.
Oh,
these more complex things where you go like the container. I mean, I started off, that part 1 ended up half an hour long, but it was about 3 hours of video I started with.
I know.
And then you sort of chop bits out and speed bits up, and then you think, I better watch that. But my laptop's not good enough to run it all in a preview, so I have to render it out, which can take an hour. Yeah. And then you watch it back, and there's like one annoying little cut that's wrong, or you've left in a bit. So then you have to go back and cut that bit out, and then render it again for another hour.
Yeah.
At which point you realise you accidentally hit mute on the audio track, so it's rendered it out silent. So then you have to render it. Those ones I don't like.
My favourite bit is where you put the flash up to say someone's name or the event you're at. And when you go through editing it, and then you do your render or your export, whatever terminology people use, is you take it out and then you notice where the intro should have been, the word, it's moved along a bit in the video, and it's like that shouldn't be there. That should be over there, right? Make a note. The music's too loud, which is my big problem. One thing though.
Just for record, I always set my background music for minus 40 dB.
Okay, and for people
just trundles along underneath.
Yeah, people thinking about getting into YouTube channels and things like that. I use an editing software called Filmora 12. What do you use?
I'm on Premiere.
Premiere.
Adobe Premiere, because I've used Photoshop forever and a day just to do graphics, and Premiere sort of works the same way. So it seems fairly natural to me. Yeah,
that's interesting you say that, because I've used the software for email marketing in business called MailChimp for many years. Yes. And Filmora 12 is just like that, where you just grab it and you drag it in there, and it's playing and you've made a video. That's as simple as it is.
Yeah. I used to use, when I started it, the first few videos I did with Clipchamp, which is free, isn't it? It's just like a Windows app. You can just download it. It's free.
Oh, Clipchamp.
Yeah. And
that's how I make my YouTube shorts.
It seems fine. It works quite well. It wasn't quite so easy to work through like multi-tracking, but if you just want to bolt different bits together. What laptop do you have, Dave? Oh, it's an Alienware 17-inch screen thing that's about 10 years old. It's long past its sell-by date, really. It's got lots of RAM in it and a really fast hard drive, but it is old.
Yeah. So I like YouTube. I like your channel. I like our friends' channel, because when we watch things like you, like Rob, we learn about new products that I never knew existed.
Rob and his Zap, yeah.
So Robert Swift Slots has put both Dave and I onto Zap. I've not used this yet. Today will be my first shot of using it with a Stanley blade to get it to exactly where it needs to go.
Oh, that works.
I can't say the word beginning with V. What's it called?
Viscosity.
Thank you. Yeah.
And then you're using capillary action.
Yeah.
To get it down between the gaps.
Yeah.
Science, Pete. Should have paid attention at school.
I know. That she was really good looking. Brilliant, mate. Right. So there's a lot of love for you in the chat, Dave. I really want you to keep doing what you're doing for my own selfish reasons that I'm learning a lot from you, mate.
Well, I mean, a lot of these videos I do because I kind of figure one day I'll be really old and forgetful. So, yes, this channel is for everybody else, but mostly it's like, for me, it's going to be like, you know, an old photo album. When I'm old and forgetful, I'll be able to watch it back myself. So I'm sort of really making videos that I'll watch. Future Dave will watch these. So that's my kind of, you know.
I know it's quite controversial, but that's what I use Facebook for. If I ever get dementia, then I'll have something to look back on to remind myself of who I was and where I came from. So it's a very, very serious disease, dementia. And
yes, my mum has it, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I say it's sort of in a somber tone. Well, I do wish you the best, mate. I do wish you the best. But you do become forgetful. It's for younger viewers who are watching it, it's a disease that attacks your neurological system, your brain. You forget things and people very gradually, and it's not a great thing. So anyone who does any awareness to this sort of thing, fair play to you, Dave. Wish you all the best for that. And a more positive note, we've got a campaign to do, because I didn't realise until you said on yesterday on your video that Rahul's on like 800 or so subscribers.
It's like 896 the last time I looked.
896.
Yeah.
He's in campaign territory, isn't he?
He is.
So let's help him get there, because you're there now. So, you know, got to share the love.
Yeah.
What are your views?
I mean, he helped me get there, so I feel a bit bad, but he helped push my channel, and I overtook him recently, and we need to get him there as well.
But I just assumed he was well up there, because I've watched him for quite a while now, and I just assumed that because he's so natural at doing this.
Yeah, he looks like he knows what he's doing, like he's been doing it a long time.
Yeah. You know, his transitions are slick. He understands software. I need to find out what software he uses, because he's got a little bit more functionality on his. But he's just so natural with it. His guests, his production, this. I didn't even realise. So, you know, I'd have banged the drum for both of you for the last few months. I feel slightly bad. I know he's in bed now, asleep. So, but
I think he's still up.
I'm a big fan of more content, more YouTube channel, because it diversifies the hobby. It makes different people relate to different people. We're quite like polar opposites in our personalities, but we are come together as good friends. So someone who, people can find people to watch that they enjoy, or they can get the information that they need from wherever. What are your views on new channels, new content? Is there anything that you particularly would like to see more of on YouTube?
I don't know. I think I'd like everybody just to get Revo slots, really. That'd be fine.
I didn't know. Travis said it on his news channel on Friday night's bulletin, does some great slot car news. He said that Revo Slot is a sister brand to BRM.
Yes, they're basically, I think BRM was a company, and then it might even be some friends of the people who run BRM decided to basically make the same sort of cars but smaller. So they're two companies. But if you buy Revo Slot spares, they come in BRM packets.
I love that. I love that. It's when you can cross brand. Yeah. I bought a Legend. It's going to make you laugh. And this is for the benefit of everyone. Come on, I'll tell you when I've got it wrong. So I bought a Legend, and I thought I'd be clever, and I thought I'd put on some of the spare parts that David Walls, the American that kindly gifted me a package recently. Thought I'd put on his gear, and I thought I'd put on his pinion, and just, give it a little bit more race spec. Turns out, and I need to look into it, that pinions come in different sizes of hole.
Oh, yes.
Because this one was a little bit tight, but I didn't realise they come in different. So I've given it a bit of a jimmy, and I think I broke the motor.
Oops.
So I might have had to purchase a second Legends car. And the chassis are exactly the same between the two different types of Legends, Pioneer Legends.
It's one chassis and like three different bodies.
Correct. So might be two in the box.
Yeah, but one of them's going to have some stupid 38,000 motor in it, isn't it?
No. I've kept the motor. That's got to be fair. That's got to be standard motor.
Yeah.
But when you see it, I can't show you it because it's right down in the testing department. But when you get the engine, I mean, this is right. So you see, you got the two lugs on either side.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of just go like this now through the whole thing. It's very loose.
Oh.
So, I mean, I've got the pinion on there, but it's kind of pushed that thing through. So now it just comes in and out. So it's wedged in.
I'm trying to work out if actually the spinning armature bit is still attached to the spindle. Is it? Does it actually work?
It turns.
Or is all the little magnets and stuff going to go around inside without the axle turning?
I'm going to test it in the next 20 minutes. So I'll let you know. Oh, in fact, I'll make a short on it. Right. I'll do a short in a bit. Will the engine work? Because I've not got the body on there. I've just got the chassis and the motor. So you won't be able to see the design of the car. You'll just see if it works or not. So I'll do a quick short and I'll title it "For Anyone Who Knows." So if you come to the live stream, the short next is for you.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Are you doing shorts, Dave?
No, I did a short about, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And my channel was trundling along and, a few more subscribers. And I released a short. And I obviously upset YouTube because it wasn't a normal video on a Wednesday or a Saturday. And all of a sudden, my channel just tanked for about 2 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
What did you put on there?
They say, oh, I don't even remember what it was. I was just running a few laps of a car going around the track or something. It wasn't anything particularly clever.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, for about 2 weeks, hardly any views, hardly anybody subscribed. Everybody goes, oh, you should do shorts to make your channel better. It's like, no, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah. Well, apparently I heard if you get 4 thumbs down, 4 dislikes, YouTube stops immediately pushing that content.
Oh.
So, and you see it. I've seen it on mine. You get 1.6K, stops dead. Like the charity one in particular. I just want to bring this up again. Whoever put a thumbs down on a charity video, not just mine, but anyone's charity video, is a cretin, because these guys, Mission Motorsports, are raising money for, it doesn't matter who they're raising money for, they're getting off their backside and they're trying to give back to someone who is in a predicament and need the help. Who thumbs down that? I had said a big rant on a couple of episodes ago. I had a rant. I had a few rants in that episode. Thought I'd get it out of my system in one session, so the rest of my sessions are always positive. But I was saying to people, if you don't like something, if something's sinister and really bad, don't dislike it, because you're telling YouTube that other people shouldn't be watching that. But when you've got a charity video for someone trying to earn money for people in underprivileged circumstances, you don't thumbs down that. You just move on. You have the power to move on. Just swipe, like you do on your dating websites or whatever. It's apps, that's the word. Shows how long. I've never used them. I was old school. I met my wife traditional way.
Yeah.
In the nightclub.
Yeah, I met my wife. We were at a gig and both drunk.
I think she was more drunk, wasn't she?
Definitely.
Brilliant, Dave. Dave, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to wrap up the show, actually, guys. So it's nice to have your company, Dave, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. When you're, I'll come on yours. I'll come on yours when you're up and running.
Oh, I don't know if I could do a live. I'm not really a host kind of person.
Okay.
I couldn't.
What
you could just chat. I need somebody to chat to.
Yeah, I tell you, I can chat to myself for hours.
We could do a slightly leerier version of that thing them two guys do on Talking Out a Slot.
What about, exactly. That would be quite cool to do a regular podcast. One thing, there was a comment in the chat, I'm just trying to find it. DeFingers, I've just seen your comment. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. DeFingers' mum sadly passed of dementia. I just wanted to sort of recognise that. Where is it? Yeah. So, what Daz was saying, that he wants to see more things running around your park. He loves your track videos.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking of doing is, exactly. That's it. That's the next one on the block. What I'd like to do is, I've been talking to Travis about it, but pinning him down is like, it's very difficult. He's a man in demand. I said to Trav, I'd like him to come on every week or 2 weeks for 5 or 10 minutes to do a news bulletin, a roundup of his favourite hot picks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll talk about it off screen and stuff, but maybe if you fancy doing a monthly appearance, like a regular slot, like a 10-minute roundup on what you've been up to, the building side of it, the car racing side of it, general activity side, because a lot of people tune in, they want to see what's going on.
That's true. They want to see the behind the scenes stuff, don't they?
Yeah, exactly.
But only because they want to see the other stuff, I'm sure.
This is a way of sort of getting those little nuggets of extra stuff that you don't hear about on the polished article.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're up for it, we can discuss that. That would be quite good. Like new things we've both come across. Yeah.
You could share the 4 different times you've had to strip the paint off your Legend.
Yeah,
I can't laugh. I haven't started mine yet, and I've never painted a car before. So,
it's fine. Like, my tip to you is just gradually. Like you put many layers onto your base coat, so you're building. In particular, the ticket office, where I think we did something like 5 or 6 different coats of layers, so that when you rub it down, you get that different varied texture in that. Same difference as stock car. You literally just spray like that, let it dry, go away. You can just do about 8 times over 2 or 3 days. If you try and rush it, you get bleed.
Am I using my airbrush for 30 seconds and then spending 5 minutes cleaning it?
No, but my tip to you, and this is what kettled Lucas's head, my son, he's just given up on it now, is if you get your, so from coming to airbrush, so I've come to airbrush, I've not even turned it on. This is what you do, everyone. You undo the back, you take your pin out, you get a bit of tissue with cleaner on it, you do that, then you put it back in, blast a bit of cleaner through it, and then you start to spray. So I clean this out thoroughly every single time I finish with it. I'm meticulous. It's the old military in me. Get your kit done, get your admin done, wash your rifle and your boots. But so I know when I come back to it, it is immaculate. However, you would be surprised it doesn't work, or it works sporadic. It's patchy and it's bad. Just doing what I've just shown you there, game changer, mate. Game changer.
Okay. So clean it before as well as after.
Yes. Yeah, it will really make a difference to your stress levels.
Okay.
That's the advice. That and the fact that you're not getting a full coat on the first or second pass. So this one here is probably 4 coats. So not too many, because what I want to do is do another coat over the top of it, just to wear in some of the wear marks around the grills that I've been putting on. So yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There you go. So that's it. But no, you will love it. It's like the track work. It's really therapeutic when you get the hang of it. And then you start
very
to look
not
around.
When you haven't.
No, that's right. But then you start to look at then you start to look around and think, what else can I spray? And you put your wheelie bins out going, oh, those numbers are looking a bit shabby.
Right, okay.
You got everything. But I go into, I really like it. I just find different parts of the hobby therapeutic. Track building, spraying cars, tuning cars, chatting on air with you. That's why it doesn't become a boring hobby, because there's so many different facets of the hobby that you can enjoy.
It's an onion.
It's a Shrek. It is multi-layered. I like it. So there you go. Right then, there you go, Dave. Let's do the end. Let's do the outro together. You ready to leave?
Okay, let's go.
Right then. So, track fans, thank you ever so much for tuning in. Me and my special guest, Dave from Slot R, recently reached 1,000 subscribers. That's it. Daz Hall commented earlier, and Tara and myself. I've been counting them up. We all want to know what Mrs. Slot R is going to put in a 2,000 box. And you've started a precedence, because all of us are now going in there going, hey, you know, Dave got 1,000 subscriber present.
Everybody's wife is going to be upset.
Exactly. So thanks everyone for tuning into Sunday Slotcast sessions. You can find us here every week at 7:30 a.m. sharpish, where we have special guests. So on that note, guys, I bid you a good week ahead. Take care, guys. See you later, Dave. Take care, my man.
Bye.
All the best.